right, everyone. It is Sunday night. It's a later episode. I was hoping to get Brutal in on this episode tonight, but he had other obligations. So I am running the helm tonight. Your host, Arctic Jag. Um, so tonight we're going to be covering some news out of Destiny 2. We're also going to be covering my thoughts of the Outriders. I did a first impressions episode 2 weeks ago, and I've played it a lot more since then, and I have a few more thoughts that I wanted to cover that I didn't cover in my first episode because I didn't quite have the what I would consider a full knowledge that I did. So we're going to go over that tonight. So sit back, relax. Let's have a little fun. Episode 6, the Destiny Outriders kind of montage of things going on. I am your host, Arctic Jag. I'll let your misadventure guide you tonight. I am solo. Brutal was still doing some other things that he couldn't make it tonight. So let's jump right into it. Destiny 2. The TWAB came out Thursday, and there was some stuff that was in it that has the community upset. Like, I have not seen the community this upset in a long time. And what I'm talking about is I'm talking about transmog. The community has been asking for transmog since D1, probably since I started in the beta. There is a huge portion of the Destiny community that is a fashionista part of the community. They love their armor. They love to put shaders on it. They love to dress up. And Brutal's one of them. Back before he changed his gamer tag, we had a verb for him. I mean, like, he would jump on 2 hours before us and just, I got to make sure my armor matches. I got to make sure my shaders all match. I got to make sure my weapon shaders match, my armor shaders. Like, there's a group of people out there that have this, I won't call it an obsession, but have this desire to be able to make their character them, put their spin on their character. So the community has been asking for transmog for a long time, and Bungie has been really resistant about doing it. But they said at the beginning of Beyond Light that it was coming. The community was getting psyched about it, and then they dropped the bombshell Thursday. And basically, if you haven't read the TWAB, it goes something like this. You can do transmog. It's through 801. So you go out there and you get these synth cords from killing enemies, and you take them in and you turn them in for bounties, and then they give you another synth something or other, and then you take it to the loom, and you get synth weave, and then you take that to 801, and then you can get a piece of armor that's now an ornament. A universal ornament. In the grand scheme of things, I mean, it's Bungie, it's Destiny. They're always going to make it a grind. But what's really got the community upset is not the grind this time, which is a rarity because the community is always upset about the grind. It's the fact that this season with transmog and going forward, this season in particular, you can only convert 20 things into ornaments per class. And after that, it's 10 things. So for this season alone, you can get 4 sets of armor converted to ornaments for transmog. And then going forward, it's 2 sets. And the community has lost their mind. Like, I've been kind of paying attention to um, a lot of the Twitters and the Reddits, and they have completely lost their mind. And I've left this out. And if you don't want to do that, you can bypass it and spend silver, which is real money, to get around the whole limit. So I don't know what's going to happen with this. Brutal and I have been playing Destiny for a long time. Both of us, I think, since beta. And Brutal says he's done. You know, I'm getting the same sentiment from everything I'm reading online and watching YouTube videos and whatnot of the other content creators. People aren't happy. And Bungie really needs to take a hard look at changing that, because they could be in some serious problems if they stick to their guns on this, because I think the community will revolt. I have not seen the community this upset about anything, honestly, but it's been a long time since I've seen them truly upset. The closest thing was probably sunsetting. But I think this has surpassed sunsetting as far as being upset. So we'll kind of monitor this a little bit and see what happens, because there could be some issues coming up with this, because everybody was looking forward to it. And the gripe is, and it seems to be the constant, the gripe is not specifically that there's a grind for it, but you're now limiting us to this season 4 sets of armor on stuff that's in our collections that we've already got. So if Transmog's supposed to be able to take the ornaments take armor in your collections and make them ornaments so you can use it on other stuff that you have good stat rolls on, why are we having to go through all this hassle to potentially pay for it to have something we've already got? And I think that's what really has got the community up in arms. It's like, we've already got this. Why can't we just convert it straight to, ornaments? Like, I think the community would be okay if they'd have just come out and said, okay, you're going to have to do this grind, and you can unlock all these ornaments. I think the community would have been okay. But as soon as they put a cap on how many you could do per season, that's where they lost them. I firmly believe that's where they lost them. Somebody did the stats, and it was like there's 4,300 and something sets of armor that are legendary and below. There's 4,000 legendary armor pieces alone. And to unlock them at the rate that they've capped it was going to take like 33 years. Or if you spent silver on it, it was going to be like $6,000 to $12,000 to unlock it. Like, that's absurd. That's like so far gone on this that I don't know what Bungie's thinking. Like, throw us a bone, Bungie. Like, you've got to look at what the community wants and not try to squeeze every dime out of them. Now, I will say that there was some talk, and I can't remember exactly who was saying it, but they were, it was either Cakish or Houndish, one of the two, that they were saying that their suspicion is that Bungie's worried about losing money from Adververse by people if they didn't put a cap on it. Maybe they would, maybe they wouldn't. But in the grand scheme of things, like, for the community, like, it really matters. Like, you may actually see people spend more silver to get those ornaments that they really like. Like, you could have like some really cool stuff sitting in your vault or in your collection and be like, okay, I like this helmet with this boot or whatever, mix and match. I'm not that big of a fashionista. That's more of Brutal's territory than mine. But you could see something in Eververse and be like, oh man, that would look outstanding with my, chest plate or, with my helmet or whatever. And I actually think you would see the community spend money in Eververse to get something that would match something in their armor set or something with their weapon or something. So capping this, I think the community's right. I think it's the dumbest thing they've done in a long time. It might be overall. So we'll see. We'll monitor this and see what transpires with that. So that was the big bombshell coming out of Destiny 2. The other one everybody's looking forward to is Vault of Glass. That is coming out next season. Hopefully my clan sticks together long enough that we can run VOG, especially with Brutal, because Brutal and I were original VOG runners in our old clan. So it would be really nice to run VOG in 2. So we'll see. But Destiny really kind of needs to rethink this whole cap on transmog, or they could see a mass exodus out of Destiny. So we'll keep an eye on it. So that's kind of my rant today on Destiny. You'll probably hear me talk a little bit more off and on as we talk about Outriders. But let's talk about Outriders tonight. Outriders, looter shooter. For those of you who haven't played it, a little recap. Looter shooter. Got some elements of Mass Effect, Diablo, Division, Destiny. It's kind of like a hodgepodge. I just took pieces of all these games and threw it together and like, hey, look, we got ourselves a game. So which is cool. There's some things in there that are probably need to be worked on a little bit. They're more cosmetic than it really is gameplay wise. You still have some stuff from the original beta or the demo that everybody complained about, which is the kind of the shaking of the cutscenes. They fixed a chunk of that, but not all of it. The thing that I really like about Outriders, and I touched on this in the first episode 5, my first impressions of Outriders, is the ability to get loot. The whole loot system for Outriders, I would tell you, is phenomenal. You're not getting necessarily always what you want, but you're getting loot. You're getting loot on kills. You're getting loot out of chests. You're getting loot for completing missions. You're getting loot. And to me, with a looter shooter, that's what I want. Like, I want to be able to be like, man, I'm getting stuff everywhere. I want to have that problem where I'm like, what do I want to do? Which piece of armor, which weapon do I want to use? Do I really like this one or do I like this one? So I like having that problem. I like having to be able to sit there in between battles going, okay, do I want to use the fully automatic shotgun or do I want to use the double barrel auto rifle? So there's just a little bit of that going on that I really enjoy. I like having that problem. One of the drawbacks is, I won't call it a drawback, but let me backtrack that up. In Division, in Gears of War, you have cover that you can use. It's a third person, and Outriders is third person. You use cover, attack bad guys, go to next cover, attack bad guys, go to next cover, attack bad guys. And this is how Outriders is pretty much set up. But what you discover really quickly is that cover is not your friend. You need to be aggressive. You need to push. Because if you try to hide behind cover for any length of time, the AI for these, bad guys, they're super accurate with their grenades. They will put a grenade over your cover or land it right next to you, and you have to get out of cover. And once you get out of cover, you're getting shot. So in this case, this is one of these where you just really need to be aggressive. And it took me a little bit to figure that out. It took me like the concept was a little slow on the uptake for me because I was like, oh, cover. I'm going to get behind cover. They can't shoot me behind cover. Oh, crap, there's a grenade. So with that in mind, the big problem I see, and I haven't specifically seen where people can fly have stated otherwise. See if there's something new real quick. Hold on. So people can fly. So they're okay. So they describe the game as not being a live service game. And for those of you who don't know what a live service game, that's like Call of Duty, that's Destiny, that's stuff like that. So it's stuff that, you know, has battle passes, they monetize elements like cosmetics and stores and stuff like that. So people can fly specifically made it so it wasn't like that. Now they are saying that the developer isn't looking to run a live service game doesn't mean Outriders won't receive new content. Instead, People Can Fly want to deliver substantial content updates for the game's dedicated players. So hopefully, so they're saying that the studio saying that they would be happy to create more content in the future if people like the game enough. They would only take the form of significant expansions with self-contained stories. So they're not ruling out DLCs for the game, but they are not specifically planning on DLCs at the moment, which has me a little concerned in the respect that what does the future of this game look like? Because once you beat the story mission or the story, you've got expeditions you can go do. And you got the Eye of the Storm, which is really the final end content to the game. But once you've done that, what are you going to do? I mean, you can go back and play other classes. You can go back and do the missions all over again on a higher world tier to get better loot drops. So you're like loot grinding in a game that already gives you a ton of loot in the process. But what are you going to do? So the longevity of this game has me a little concerned. And I don't know. I know it's doing well on Steam. It's been like the top downloaded game on Steam. I think Xbox Pass has had a huge download for the game. So I'm hoping there's enough incentive for People Can Fly to do at least one DLC and see what happens. But that the comment of saying they would be happy to do more content if people like the game enough. And that is such a vague, subjective statement that I don't know how, as a community, as a gamer, a content creator, how I feel about that. Because if I'm going to invest time, resources in a game, I want to know it has a long lifespan, or a decently long lifespan. That's part of the reason why I've been with Destiny since beta of D1 7 years ago, 8 years ago, whatever it is now. Because it had a roadmap, 10 years, 10-year plan. Whoop. And has it had its good times? Yes. Has it had its bad times? Almost certainly. But the roadmap's always been the roadmap. It's gone off-roading a few times. There was content that dropped that I hated, Curse of Osiris. But I've stuck with it because there's that story, and I wanted to follow it. So with this game, great story, great storytelling, lots of loot. But what's the end game with this game? Is it just a one and done, or are we going to do more? And that's where my concern is right now. But outside of that, we'll get into world tiers, which, yeah, I tell you what, world tiers, Division had them. This game's got them. I'm a little, can't decide if I like world tiers or not. I've got one character, my pyromancer, who has made its way through the story and is out doing expeditions, but he hasn't unlocked any world tier higher than 6 because he can't do it. You're just not able to do it. My Devastator, who is probably halfway through the story now, is, I think, world tier 6 is the highest he's gotten on his own. Brutal and I've played together, and we got his Devastator up to world tier. I think he's at 7 now. I know he was at 6 when we were playing the other day, and I think he's up to 7. But your abilities at that level are, yeah, about that. It's just like slapping them in the face. The other thing that's got me, and this goes along with world tiers, but the other thing that's got me is like your level cap for your character is 30. Your level cap for your weapons, I believe, is 50 if I remember reading that right. That's a 20 level difference between your weapon and your level itself. Now, that being said, that's good and that's bad. The problem with that is I like gunplay. Gunplay is great. But I also like my abilities. And if I'm playing at level 15 world tier, I want my abilities to be able to do as much, if not more, damage than my firearm. Because at that point, I might as well be a god. Just raining chaos down on the world. But that's not specifically how this is set up. I've discovered that at whatever your level of your character is the level of his abilities. You can have your weapons higher than that. But if you're level 28 and you're going up against a level 32 bad guy, and you're at world tier 6, and you have a level 32 auto rifle, your level 32 auto rifle is going to do a ton of damage on the bad guy. Your abilities aren't going to do a whole lot of damage. It'd be like throwing a spitball at him. Oh, look, I get hit by a piece of paper. I mean, I already feel powerful. I love feeling powerful. Let me feel powerful. And this is a page Bungie needs to take for Destiny. We've killed gods. We should be powerful. We should feel powerful. We should have the ability to be powerful. Stop nerfing stuff, Bungie. Stop it. Stop it. But anyway, back to Outriders. So, really the takeaway on the world tiers is as I get to the point where I can start opening up bigger world. Oh, this was another thing about world tiers. I discovered that if I play with Brutal and I join a match with Brutal, then my world tiers and my levels don't increase. His does, because he's the host and I'm playing on his. So if I want my stuff to increase, he has to join on me so I can increase my stuff, but his stuff doesn't increase as well. So I think People Can Fly need to fix that a little bit. Like if I join on somebody, my stuff should be going up like with their stuff. So, and that might change. I mean, that might fix itself once he's finished with the story mission or the stories. Because I'm really playing with my Pyromancer when I run with him because I want a little extra damage on stuff. He's like level 11 and I'm like almost 30. So I can cause chaos and mayhem by myself running with him. But I mean, it's just, things like that. How much grinding am I going to do? I don't know. It really depends on if People Can Fly want to do a DLC. Because if they decide not to, what's the point in grinding? I mean, yeah, it'd be cool to have some really neat exotic weapons or legendary weapons, but if that's all I'm doing is just grinding for a weapon that really there's nothing going to be able to be used after you defeat Eye of the Storm, like what's the point? So, as much as I love the game, and I truly do love the game, there's some things that need to be sorted out. But we'll see. I mean, I'm still playing it. I think right now it's probably the game I'm playing the most of. Well, that's not true. I did get MLB 21, and I've been playing a lot of MLB 21. But that's a whole probably different episode. I'll do my first impression on that one later. But Outriders is really the game I'm playing right now. It's kind of taken on Destiny. Now, I'm not saying this game is by any means a Destiny killer, because I don't think it is. I really don't think it is. But I'm not into Guardian games. Like, I did Guardian games last year in Destiny and hated it. Largely because I think it was slightly rigged a little bit. I main a Warlock in Destiny, and there's the Hunters have the highest percentage, followed closely by Titans. So there's really no way Warlocks can win at Guardian games. So this year's Guardian games, I may jump out tomorrow night and play some Destiny and Guardian games so I can get Heir Apparent. But I have no desire to play Guardian games, and Guardian games is going to be around until the end of the season, which May 11th I think is when the the new season should start the 9th, but they said that they were going to start it on the 11th, I believe. Which would be odd because 11th's a Thursday and weekly reset is on Tuesdays. So unless they're making an exception for the DLs for the season, then the new season needs to either start on the 9th or start on the 16th. We'll see, though. But, yeah, Outriders is what I'm playing right now. It is the game that I am finding most joy in at the moment. So, outside of what I'm playing on my PC. So that's just console stuff. PC, I'm playing. I got back into playing Civilization 6, and that has consumed me many a night this weekend, up until the wee hours of the morning playing Civilization 6. So, but yeah, new season of Destiny, when it starts, I'll be back playing Destiny regularly, probably. But anyway, well, another short episode tonight. So I hope you all enjoyed it. You guys can find me at Arctic Jag on Twitch, Arctic Jag 242 on Twitch. You can find me at YouTube, Arctic Jag Midnight Misfits Gaming. And then you can find me on Twitter as well, which is Arctic Jag, or at Arctic Jag 242. So I'll be posting stuff on Twitter going on forward to keep people in the loop. So let me know what you all think. But anyway, just wanted to give a little short, Destiny 2 update with the bombshell they dropped in the massive disappointment, and my further thoughts on Outriders going forward. So anyway, y'all have a good night. Take care. Hit me up on Twitch or YouTube, or send me a message on Twitter. Let me know what you think. And you all have a good week going forward. And we'll catch you at the next episode.